Christian can earn. And as we talk about crowns, I want to begin by saying that there are some usage of the word crowns in the Bible. A crown sometimes is the literal crown that a king has. But the first thing about crowns, to let us into the study about crowns tonight, one particular crown out of the 5 that a Christian can earn, the crown here is Proverbs 12:14. The crown is used as a metaphor, as a symbolic thing to help us understand something very, very important. In Proverbs 12, verse number 4, the crown is used symbolically. A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband. A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband. That means, of course, that a good wife, a good mother, even if she's virtuous, she's a crown to her husband. She doesn't wear the crown, but her husband wears the crown figuratively. So when people talk about this husband, they honor him because it's like he has a crown on his head. It's his wife's character that honors the husband. And so her character, her devotion to her family, the dignity that she has, she honors her husband because of the way she is. And so he's admired, respected, and he's even envied by his friends because he has a good wife. And so the crown represents that. A good wife is like a crown to her husband. She's the opposite of another woman in Proverbs, where she is a brawling woman, a loud woman, a woman who is such a loud woman that the husband wants to go on the rooftop because it's too bad downstairs. So that's the opposite. And so the first wife that I'm mentioning, the virtuous woman, the virtuous wife, she is the woman who makes the husband feel like a king. Have you ever heard that expression? She makes her husband feel like a king, or he feels like a king because he's got a good wife. And that's the reason. She is his crown. So the crown is used in a figurative way. Another way that we see the word crown is a crown always is associated with a king or royalty. A crown and royalty go together. Let me give you a reference, a Bible verse, you can write it down. Matthew 27:29. This is when Pilate was mocking Jesus, and he put on him a scarlet robe and a crown of thorns on his head. A crown of thorns on his head. Well, he did that because he was making fun. He was mocking Jesus. You say you're a king? Well, here is a crown of thorns. So Pilate was saying, okay, if you're a king, you deserve a crown. Here, to punish him, to make him suffer. And then in Revelation chapter 6, verses 1 through 8, the use of crown is figurative. It represents something. A king always is appropriately adorned with a crown. In Revelation 6, you have 4 horsemen on 4 kinds of horses. A white, red, black, and a pale horse. Now, the white horse the horse rider has a bow in his hand, and he's got a crown. Now, he's often mistaken to be Jesus Christ because the horse is white. But when you look at the other horses that come with him, you know that he's not Jesus Christ because he brings death. And so the point is, this Antichrist that comes, not Jesus Christ, this false Christ that comes, he has a crown because he has to fake that he's like the real Jesus who deserves a crown. So crowns are also appropriate for a king and royalty. And then one more verse about Revelation 14:14 Revelation. This is another statement about crowns and how a king and a crown go together. John saw a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like as unto the Son of Man. So now this one is Jesus, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. So when he brings judgment, Jesus the King appropriately and justly so brings judgment to this world one of these days in the tribulation. And so that is Jesus Christ. So a crown and a king go together, okay? If you're not a king, you don't deserve a crown. But if you're a king, you deserve a crown. Now, the 4 and 24 elders in Revelation chapter 4, they will throw down their crowns at Jesus' feet in Revelation chapter 4, because a crown and a king go together. Now, let's talk about Christians and crowns. The Christian and crowns. Do you know that there are crowns for a Christian to earn? They're not given to him. They have to be earned. So let's look at the first crown tonight, and I think I would like to spend most of the time on the first crown tonight, and next time we'll talk about the other 4 crowns. 1 Corinthians chapter 9. This is the first of 5 crowns. These crowns have a lot of lessons for the Christian today, a lot of symbolism, a lot of good meaning for the Christian to learn. 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verses 24 through 27. Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize? So run that ye may obtain. And every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. Notice the contrast between 2 things. Temporal, corruptible, incorruptible. Verse number 26. I therefore so run, not as uncertainly, so fight I not as one that beateth the air, but I keep my body and bring it into subjection, that lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway. Now let's go through the verses and teach some things about this one particular crown. This crown is used in the historical, the cultural, contemporary sense that he is living in of the Greek games, in which the winner of a race, this is a race, he stands before the official, maybe the emperor, and he's given a crown of leaves, olive leaves, or even celery leaves. Well, how long does a celery leaf last? How long does an olive leaf last? Branch. Now, every Sunday we get these nice flowers, which is now gone, from Sharon. She brings these nice flowers. I pick them up, bring them to church on Sunday. They're very nice from the Ko'olau farmers. And they donate it to the church, and she takes it and she arranges it. I pick it up on Saturday. They're all very nice. So she puts it all together, and every Sunday we get this nice flower arrangement. She puts it together. But there's something about these flowers that is true for any flower that we've ever gotten from her. They have to be removed before Wednesday or before Sunday because they will fall apart. They will dry because it's temporary. The flowers, the leaves will fall apart. You water them, they will last a day too longer, but they will eventually fade away because it's not permanent. So Paul is saying here that this race that he's looking at and teaching a lesson, the winner of a race gets something. Now, let me just say, first of all, each Christian is in a race. Number one, each Christian is in a race. We all are in a race. If you're a Christian, you're in some kind of a race. God has put you in a race. Now, in a race that involves, say, a sprint, you have different lanes. Okay, some of these kids are using these pens and they're not covering them, and this one's all dried out. Remind me to scold them on Sunday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, this is a track that goes around a football field, okay? And if it's a race that's a sprint, not a relay, not a marathon, somebody makes you go in a certain lane. So this school, you're going to go in this lane, and this school goes into this lane, and it's all organized by the official of the race. You have to be going in the right lane. So the team members of a team or running team, they have to go in a certain lane. Now, think about this. All Christians are on a certain team. Yes? We're on God's team. All Christians. Everyone who's saved belongs to God's team in that sense. Now, what race are we in? Well, I don't know. Because God, the coach. I don't want to make it sound like bringing God. But in the sense to understand, God, our coach of our team, the Christian team, he puts us in the right lane. We don't choose. We are told where to go, and then we go in that lane, and we run over here. So here is you, and there is you, and see, and so we go where we're assigned. That's to say, as we talk about racing and winning a crown or getting awarded for our good race, we have to remember that we are all in a race, and God places us in different parts so we can run our race. Okay? So let's talk about this for just a second. Some people, their race is to sing because they can sing. Some people, their race is to not sing because they cannot sing. For other people, their race is to preach or it is to teach. Some is to be a nursery worker, a Sunday school teacher, an usher, different kind of things to do. Piano player or keep track of counting the offerings, things like that. So everybody has a race to be in, see? A lane. So everybody is in a race. As spiritually as a Christian, everyone who's on God's team is in a certain race. You need to find out where your race is, what your race is, what lane you belong to. You're on the team, but you need to find out where you are to run. Once you find out where you are to run, then we'll talk about, in this chapter, how to run your race. Because you want to run your race to win. And so first of all, every Christian is in a race. We're all on God's team. And everyone who runs in a real race in school here or college, they have to be enrolled in a school. So let's say USC, University of Southern California, is running against the University of Hawaii in a track meet. Okay, for a fast runner to compete for this school or for this school, they can't just show up and say, I want to run. I want to run in this race. I can run fast. He may be able to run fast, but if he's not enrolled in the school as a student, he cannot run. He's disqualified. He has to be enrolled in the school. So for someone to be earning a potential crown, an incorruptible crown, he has to be in the team. He has to be part of the roster. He can't just show up and run. You know, a lot of people do that spiritually. They run, they do good things, they do religious things, but they're not on the team. They're not in God's family. They're not saved. But they can run fast. They can do a lot of things, but they're not born again. So if they are not born again, but they're running the race and doing a great job and they come in first, have they won anything? No. Because they're disqualified from the beginning. They're not enrolled in a school. They're not in a team officially. They don't count whatever they did. Let me give an example. There are some people that are very good in the sense of doing good. Now, people who are not Christians do a lot of good things. They're very good people. They make good neighbors. They do good things. They're very helpful. We have a neighbor living 3 or 4 houses from us, and she's been there a long time. I don't know how long, but she has in front of her wall a little box made out of wood with a screen. Most every day she puts things out there for people, and she puts out things for dogs, people who own dogs. So when you walk your dog by, you stop over here, open that door, and look at the bottom shelf where there's a clothespins on the line of treats hanging for dogs. She says, this is for dogs. The sign here says for humans. You know what I do with the little kids when we go for a walk on the morning time? We walk by Grandpa, can we go by over here? I said, of course. We go by over here, we open the door, we look over here, what is for the humans? And so they can't eat certain things, but I can. Grandpa, you want this one? I said, give me that one, give me this one, give me this one. It's usually something to do with mochi. It's all from Sam's or Costco. And so we'll do that. Now, you know why she does that? Because she's just nice. She's a good neighbor. Is she a Christian? No. But does she do good things? Yes. Her race, although she's doing a lot of good things, think about this, does not count for really a whole lot, in the sense of God doesn't recognize it because she's not on the team. See, so this is not a put down of her or anyone who does good but they're not a Christian. I'm just simply saying people who are decent, they do a lot of good things, but their good works does not count for righteousness. Righteousness is not earned by you being good in your race. So that's very important to know. You have to first be saved to be on the roster, to be on the team, to be recognized officially as a runner in this race of ours called the Christian life. And so that's very important to remember. Number 2, when it comes to this race, there are always going to be winners and losers. Always going to be winners and losers. Now, look at verse 24. Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize? So run that ye may obtain. Now, if you look up here at the board, there are 5 or 6 lanes. That means there are 6 runners. Sometimes they could be running from the same school in lane 1 and lane 4. So let's just say each lane represents a different runner from a different school. Now, there are 6 runners. There's 1 finish line. And one person will cross that finish line before the others. And that one who finishes first is the winner. The one who comes in second is not the winner. And then someone's going to come in last, fifth and fourth place. The point so far is there are winners and losers in a race. There are people who will beat you and you beat people. Not everyone's going to win. So the faster runner is going to beat the slower runner. The slower runner will beat the slowest runner. Someone's going to lose. So someone's always going to be sad. Someone's always going to be happy. Someone will get the olive wreath, the branch, the crown. Someone will get the celery leaf crown. But someone's going to not get anything. And so in racing, there will always be winners and losers. But let me say this. In the Christian life, there really are no losers in the Christian life. Because God recognizes all sincere, faithful service, no matter what lane He has put them in. If God has put you in lane 1, which is simply be a good Christian, good church member, if He's put you in lane 4, which is to be a good Sunday school teacher, and so on, if a person is faithful to his race, he will be rewarded for that. So there are no losers for real in God's thinking. But in the world's thinking, in a real race, there are losers. In a boxing match, someone's going to lose. Someone's going to win. And so the Boston Red Sox, they won 15 games in a row. But today they lost game number 16. So they are 15-1, which is a real accomplishment. They have nothing to be ashamed of because that's a great achievement, and other teams have lost to them. There's always going to be winners and losers in sports, especially in racing. And so in God's race, what you need to be careful about is one verse I want to show you. Turn to 2 Timothy chapter 4. When it comes to the idea of racing and being faithful and winning a crown or being rewarded or awarded, you need to remember 2 Timothy chapter 4. Here's why I say there are no real losers in God's racing. 2 Timothy 4 and verse number 7. This is the Apostle Paul. He is facing execution in Rome. His ministry is over. He cannot run anymore. But he is still faithful unto the very end of his life. In verse number 7, it says, I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. What does he mean when he says, I finished my course? The course is his race. I finished my race. I've run my race. God put me in lane number 1. And I ran in lane number 1 with all of my strength and energy. I was faithful. Now my race is over. But I have nothing to be ashamed of because I have finished my course. The goal of a Christian is not to always win, but his goal is to always be faithful and finish his course. Finish what God gave you to do. That's the most important thing, and everybody can do that. So you don't have to be famous. You don't have to be well-known. You don't have to be a star to be a winner. God looks at you. He says, I want you to be faithful and finish your race. Finish your course. Now, look at the second thing. Besides having winners and losers, the third thing I should say, number 3. Number 3. Winning is achievable. Winning is achievable. Really, everyone can win. It is a potential. It is a doable thing. Winning is achievable. Look at verse 25. 1 Corinthians 9, verse 25. And every man, woman, that striveth for the mastery, be the best, is temperate in all things. We'll talk about that word in a minute. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. Verse 26. I therefore so run, not as uncertainly, so fight I, not as one that beateth the air. Now in verse 25, he runs, back up to verse 24. He runs. Paul says, so run that ye may obtain. So verse 24 is the verse I want you to come to. Verse 24. So run that ye may obtain. Well, if he says, so run so you may obtain, that means it's possible that you could achieve this crown. It's a possibility. He is not saying, try out your best, but you will never get it. He doesn't say that. Now, there's one thing in life that I can try my best and I'll never get it. Neither would any of you here. Neither would any who watch online. You'll never get this one thing, even if you try your best. You know what that is? Finish Navy SEAL training school. You never finish it. None of us will finish it. It is too it's too hard. Of 100 men, how many will fail? 99% will fail. That's how rough it is. You go into the pool, you jump into the pool, you get pushed down to the bottom of the pool, you try to get up. I mean, it's like they want to drown you. And those who don't survive day 1 or day 2, however many days it is, they say, all right, number so-and-so, pack up, you're done. And you have failed. But this is different. The crown that's incorruptible is very obtainable because he says in verse 24, so run that ye may obtain. He is saying, you can possibly win this crown. Every Christian can win this crown. He's saying, you can possibly win. He says, I'm not guaranteed that you will win it now, but there's a possibility, a strong chance you can win. It's possible, which is a very encouraging thing. God doesn't tell you be this if you can't be it. God doesn't say do this if he doesn't give you the strength to do it. God doesn't say be faithful unto me unto the end, and then he doesn't give you the strength to do it. So he will help you to do what you should do, and the crown is very obtainable. It's a possibility. Okay? It's achievable. It's achievable, which is encouraging. Everyone can have this crown, not just one man or one woman. Strive for the mastery. Strive for the mastery to obtain it. Strive. What does strive really talk about? Strive for the mastery. Strive. When you think of the word strive, what comes into your mind? Strive. Strive. What's another word for strive for the mastery? Strive. He's really starts with a T. When you strive, you're really starts with a T. You're what? You're really trying. You're striving. You're trying. You're not just saying, oh, I hope I get that. No, you're trying to get it. Sometimes I'll pet the little boys. We have a race, and what we do is this. I make one child go here, about 10 feet ahead of the other one, and then there's another one back here. I make this first child the rabbit. I make these 2 other kids the dogs. The dogs are going to chase and get that rabbit. Now, when they run, I say, now, at that telephone pole, that's the safety spot. Once he gets up there, you can't touch him. So I'll give you a head start. When I say go, you run, rabbit, to get to the pole. And once you get there, they can't touch you. And these 2 guys are motivated to run real fast to tag him. He's motivated to run real fast to not get tagged. So they're all going to strive together. Ready, get set, go. And they run so fast. They run faster than they think they can run because he's striving to get safety. They're striving to tag him out. Striving is to try, do something, put out an effort. Put out an effort. Strive to obtain. Strive to obtain. Strive for the mastery. Now, it is good to want to win this crown. It's noble to want to achieve success. Strive. Do the work. Do the training. Sharpen your skills. Prepare for the event. Don't show up to race and you haven't trained. You're going to lose. But if you have put out a good week of practice and training and discipline, you'll have a chance to win in your race. So the striving is an important part of winning this crown. People don't want to go to heaven and not get this crown, but they need to remember God doesn't just give them a crown because they asked for it. They're given a crown because they have earned it. They have striven to put out an effort to earn this crown. So they do all the work necessary on earth to have this crown. They're faithful. So winning remember this, winning does not happen because you winning doesn't come from wishing. You can wish to win, but you're not winning your race. Winning doesn't come from wishing that you win. Winning comes because of what the Bible says here, strive for the mastery to obtain. Do your part that only you can do for yourself. Sometimes, I need to say, sometimes people really want something and they never get what they really want. What they really want may not be bad, but they never get something. They have prayed about it, but they never get what they really want because of one thing. What would that one thing be that gets them disappointed? It's in the Bible. It's in verse number 25. They don't run. They don't strive. They don't try for what they want to have that's good. Okay, so that's a real practical thing. Winning is very possible for these runners, but the runners have to do something before they run in that race. They have to prepare for it. They have to train and everything that's necessary to win. And for them to train, they have to be, the Bible says, temperate in all things. Temperate, verse 25. Every man that striveth for the mastery, a good thing. Paul doesn't say it's wrong. When it comes to racing that he's watching, ready, get set, go, and here they run. He says they're running to win first place. He doesn't say, oh, it's not worth anything at all. He says, no, they're striving for the mastery to be number one. It's good. He doesn't condemn it. But to win, he says, verse 25, you have to be this, temperate. Temperate in all things. Temperate in all things means you have to have some self-control. You have to have some balance. You have to have some good sense about your training and your diet and all these factors that are involved with you being able to perform at your peak performance. Do your best. You have to be temperate in all things. You have to have self-control, which is a hard thing to do. Now, self-control, being temperate, is one of those bad words in the Bible because we know it's what has to be done. We have to strive, we have to be temperate. We like to do that. That's human nature. We don't want to do what we should do, but we want what, we wish we could get something, but we don't do our part to get it. And I was about to say before I interrupt myself, there's only so many things that people can do for you. You have to do a lot of things by yourself. It's called being responsible. It's called being temperate. It's called doing what you should do because no one can do that for you. You ever go to the dentist every once in a while? Or go to your doctor once in a while? Which is a good thing. I know a man has not been to the dentist for 14 years. 14 years hasn't been to the dentist. 14 years. I said, how come? He says, oh, I don't want to go to the dentist. And then he says, and I haven't been to my doctor for about 18 years. I said, no kidding. How's your health? He says, I guess I'm okay. That's his answer. But you know, something could be wrong with him that he doesn't know about. But he says, I feel okay, so I must be okay. Haven't been to a doctor, haven't been to a dentist all these years. Now, how can he be very physically fit if he doesn't even know his situation, his condition? He's not being temperate in all things. You have to be temperate, self-controlled, have some personal self-discipline if you are to earn a crown that God has for you. It's very difficult to do that. It's very difficult. Do you have some difficult things to do, but you know it's the right thing to do in your life? Are there some things you should do daily that you don't want to do because it's unpleasant? You'd rather do something else? Can you think of one thing in your house that you don't want to do, but you should do it? And you feel good after you've done it, but you don't feel like doing it? What could that one thing be? There's several things, but what thing comes to your mind in your home that you don't want to do, but you should do it? And you're happy when you do it. You feel better about it. What is that one thing? It's different for everybody, okay? You know what I don't like to do? I like to cook. I like to wash the dishes. I have found out that when I cook, I make a lot of mess. I use more than one utensil that's necessary. I grab more than one plate that's necessary. I make a mess. And I enjoy my meal, then look back and I say, now I gotta wash the dishes. I can do it tomorrow. Well, when I do that, I'm thinking, okay, that's inviting roaches to the house. I don't need to have roaches invited to my house. I don't need that kind of company. So I make myself wash the dishes. And I use a lot of hot water. You know, my water's not so hot. I boil water. And I put it in the little thing of soap and water with cold water, and I put boiling water in that thing. I like hot water. I can handle hot water. I like to wash with hot water. And when I'm done, boy, I feel so good. And I only feel good because I did what I didn't want to do. Isn't that funny how that works out? You do what you don't want to do, and you feel good afterwards. Now, have you ever not wanted to brush your teeth? Now, let's be real. Most times we don't want to do that because it takes, 2 minutes? And this sounds horrible, but some people don't want to take a bath. That's nasty. I'm too tired to take a bath. And they fall asleep in their work clothes and then get up tomorrow. And then they go to work again. How you do that? And you wonder why people don't want to be around you? But when you do the right thing, when you're temperate in all things, you have some self-control, you strive to do the right thing, it's afterwards you feel better. Now think with me. After you do the right thing that you don't want to do, you feel good. Do the hard thing that you don't want to do, the flesh doesn't want to do it, but afterwards you feel good. It's always afterwards you feel good. There's so many things in my life and your life that we don't want to do. That's just things to do as a routine. But we just don't want to do it. But when we do it, we feel good. We always do. If you're going to win a crown from Jesus Christ, you have to do the things that you don't want to do because that's what's required to strive for the mastery to be a winner, okay? You have to make yourself do what you should do. Now, that's number 3. Number four. Run to win the better crown. Run to win the better crown. There are 2 crowns. Go for the better crown. Verse 25 tells us this. Every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. And they do it to obtain a corruptible crown. But we an incorruptible. So you have 2 races, 2 rewards. One race is a fleshly in the earth, on the earth, a real physical race. And the reward for winning is a olive crown. Something very temporary. He said the other crown is a crown that's incorruptible. What a contrast. One crown fades like flowers fade every day. The other crown never fades. It stays like the Ko'olau mountain range. Never will change. He says, go for the crown that's the better crown, the incorruptible crown. Run your race to win the better crown. There are 2 crowns to strive for. This world strives for the Oscar, the Country Music Award, the Super Bowl, the World Series ring. All of those things have its place, but it's very temporary. When you die, can you take your Super Bowl ring with you? Your World Series championship ring? No, you leave it all behind. You can't take it with you. But when you strive for the incorruptible crown, you're setting your crown ahead. You're going to get it in heaven. So Paul says, run to win the better crown. Now, you choose what you want to strive for. Something that is only going to be on this earth. Put all your effort into just this earth, or put your effort into something that's incorruptible. Now, can you do both? Now, let me say this. Let me try to be a good pastor to tell you this. You can do both. You don't have to, even though you send things ahead in a real way, according to what Jesus says in Matthew, you have to take care of things on this earth too. You have to take care of money things on this earth. You have to take care of physical things on this earth. For example, you have to take care of your health. You have to take care of your finances. You have to take care of material things. You cannot ignore these things. You have to strive to keep these things in order. And you have to strive to keep other things in order, the incorruptible crown things in order too. So you do both at one time. It's like a juggler. You're juggling 2 things at one time, or 3 things at one time, okay? You ever see this guy juggle? It's really like, how can you do that? And then you do 3, and then you throw an egg in between, then you throw your baby, and you throw up, and you catch them all like that. And then, impossible, incredible. We can do 2 things at one time. Take care of temporal things, not make these temporal things our God, and then take care of the incorruptible things, which is God things, for God things. Of the 2, which one is more important? Paul says the incorruptible one. But do you have to ignore this one? No. You can do this one, or you take care of this one. Do both. Do both. So, one more thought about this. I'll move to my next point about taking care of both things. The saying that people have, that Christians have had for a long time, is this: he is so heavenly minded, he is no earthly good. Let me say again. This person is so heavenly minded, he's thinking about eternal things so much, that he doesn't take care of his earthly things. Is that good or not good? Not good. Because everything is, oh, heaven, 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 Jesus, God, everything, eternity. But then he's not feeding his kids. He's not going to work. She's not doing the dishes. She's not washing the clothes. He's not, you see. They're being irresponsible because their mind is up over here in heaven. Well, that's good, but this is not good to not take care of these things. You've got to do both. The temporal and the eternal. The corruptible, the incorruptible has to be taken care of. I have a car, got to take care of the car. It needs gas. I got to go to Costco tonight and get gas. I can't just take the car and run it into E and hope I'm going to drive another 100 miles when I know I can't. And I'm going to say, Lord, why did you let this happen to me? The Lord's going to say, knucklehead, you should have been responsible. Take care of these corruptible things. And I would say, Lord, but I'm taking care of the eternal things. He says, no, you need to be smart, not be foolish. Don't ignore this to take care of that. Take care of both. And then he'll say to me, dummy. I hope you understand. So we run to win the better crown, the eternal crown. Let me say one more thing, then I'll move on to the next point. There are people in this world in entertainment and in sports that work really hard to win a championship, to win that little trophy. They try really hard. And then when they get that, they feel pretty good. But if they're not saved, if they have no eternal life, this is a corruptible crown, this trophy. That's all they have. They have their reward. That's all they have. For the Christian, he might win an award, and that gives him some honor, deservedly so, but then he also goes to heaven. That's the better crown. He gets both. You can have both, just to make this one bigger than this one. Okay? Don't ignore the spiritual for the corruptible. That's a temptation for people. All right, number 5. We run to win the better crown. Number 5 is this. The crown is certain. The crown is it's for sure. It's for real. Look at verse 26. I therefore so run, not as uncertainly, so fight I, not as one that beateth the air. So he's saying, I'm not wasting my time. I'm not just running and fighting against the air, running against the air. No, I'm running on purpose because there's a certainty to the crown. I'm not one that just wasting my time fighting in the air. I'm not just shadow boxing and getting exhausted just fighting again. No. I am fighting for, I'm striving for an incorruptible crown. It's real, he's saying. It is certain. Therefore, so run, not as uncertainty. Number 6. Number 6. Failure is avoidable. Failure is avoidable. To strive for this crown has a lot of meaning to this. And to fail in these things is to really fail to earn a crown. Verse 27. I hope you can see in verse 27 that failure is avoidable. But I keep under my body and bring it into subjection, lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway. Failure is not inevitable, it is avoidable. No one has to fail in this Christian race that we're all in. I keep my body, I have self-control, I bring it into subjection, I control myself, lest that by any means, when I have preached unto others, you have to do that, you have to do that, don't do that, don't do that, do this, and you do the very same thing you said don't do, and you don't do the things that you said you should do. And he says, lest I preach unto others, and I myself should be a castaway. Okay, castaway. Now, how do you take the word, lest I should be a castaway? What do you think when you think about the word castaway? Besides Gilligan's Island. You got castaway on an island. What does castaway mean? What comes to your mind when you see the word castaway? You know how people see castaway? They see it like this. Let me read the verse and I'll tell you what they think it means. But I keep my body and bring it into subjection, lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be lost. That's how some people take that. I'll tell you very plainly, that's not what it means. It does not mean when he says, lest I myself should be a castaway, that God's going to cast me away and reject me from God's family. That's not what he means. Castaway, not in the sense of lost, but castaway as in being put aside, discarded, of no use. That's what castaway means. So let's look at the whole verse with the word castaway. If I tell someone to do or not do something, and I do and don't do the very same thing I tell them to not do, he says, in their eyes I'm a hypocrite, and I'm a castaway. I'm of no value to them. I'm a hypocrite. I'm a fake. I'm telling them to do something, but I don't do it myself. I'm a castaway. I have no value to them. In their eyes, I'm a poor example of a Christian. I'm a castaway. That's got nothing to do with your salvation. It's got everything to do with how your testimony is and how you are perceived by other people. You're a castaway, and you really are good for nothing. In fact, there's a word to connect that good for nothing. I want you to turn to Matthew chapter 5. Matthew chapter 5 has a word here that connects to castaway. Matthew 5:13. In a race, if a team member, a runner, is not prepared, he's of no value. If a runner in a race has not trained that previous week, if he hasn't had enough sleep, diet, the whole thing, what value is he to his team? What are his odds of winning that race? Very small. He's a castaway. So having said that, look at Matthew 5, verse number 13. Ye are the salt of the earth. But if the salt have lost his savor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out, and to be trodden under foot of men. What is he saying? He's saying what Paul said in 1 Corinthians. If you are not keeping your body in subjection, and you're not a benefit to your team, if you're not a benefit to yourself in a race, you're not prepared for your race, you're not helping anybody win. You're not helping yourself win. You are a castaway. You're of no value. You're not going to win this race. I hope you understand what he's trying to say. With Matthew, Matthew says, if salt doesn't have saltiness to it, what good is it? It's of no value. Salt is supposed to enhance flavor of food. You ever put salt in watermelon? Oh, so good. So good. It just brings up the flavor. Now, sometimes people have to be careful about the salt because of high blood pressure, but a little bit of salt to enhance flavor is so good. I have a friend who's now in heaven in Indiana, Mrs. Delmer Smith. At her latter years of life, she lost her sense of smell. So when she ate food, she couldn't smell the food, she couldn't taste the food. Not much fun to eat food when you can't taste it. Salt enhances. Salt is good. Salt is a preservative. What good is the salt if it doesn't do its job? What good is a runner who is not prepared for his race, if he doesn't have any self-control, and he runs, he is not going to win, he's not going to help our team. He's a castaway. A Christian who is not self-disciplined is not a good testimony and is a castaway. He has lost his value as far as his testimony for Jesus Christ in this world. He's not effective. He's not persuasive. People think he just talks. He doesn't mean what he says. He doesn't live the life of a Christian. He's of no value. He's a valueless Christian. That's what he's trying to say about being castaway. It's not about losing salvation, okay? I hope you understand that. But it does say failure can happen, but it's avoidable. Why do I say it's avoidable? Because you have to do your part. You have to strive. You have to have the submission of the flesh. You have to be under self-control. That's what you can do. That's what you can do. And after you continually do these things, you will be good for something. You'll be good for something. You will have a testimony. You'll be fruitful because you have been striving to be the best Christian possible. Now, we are in the Bible. We'll finish here. In the Bible, we are called soldiers. We're called farmers. We're also called runners. This is about being a runner. And in all three things, we have to be under self-control. Do what we should do. In the sense of a farmer, who wants to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning in a winter's day? But you got to do that for the cows. You got to do what you got to do. If you are a soldier who wants to march 10 miles with a heavy 60-pound pack when you got blisters, who wants to do that? Nobody does. But you have to strive. That's part of the training. Who wants to be deployed to another country for 6 months away from home? Nobody. But you do that because you're a soldier. Who wants to have his flesh under subjection so he can win a race? A runner does. But he doesn't want to do that. In all three examples, a soldier, a farmer, a runner, they don't really want to do in the flesh what they should do. But they do it, and that's why they win. That's why they win. That's why they're successful, because they control their flesh. Okay? So my strong suggestion to you, my admonition to us tonight is, if you want to earn this incorruptible crown when you get to heaven, now is the time to be in training. Now is the time to strive. Now is the time to be faithful. Now is the time to do what you really don't want to do. And that's how you get to earn this crown, like with the other crowns as well. Winning doesn't come from wishing. Winning comes from doing the responsible things, okay? Does that make some sense?
Amen.
Okay, let's do the right thing this week. Let's be responsible. Let's be faithful to the Lord. And perhaps some of us will win and earn this crown that's incorruptible. Thank you, Father, for the Bible and for how it admonishes us, corrects us, and teaches us, encourages us. Help us to strive hard to win this incorruptible crown. It'll help us to live a life of a Christian that's more consistent. And that's what we want to be, more consistent. May we be willing to do the things that's unpleasant